Well, I should tell you, I was Roger's lawyer as well as his pupil at one time, but I was his lawyer at the end and negotiated the agreement with Fox. So there are things I can say and things I can't say. I can't say that Roger has to be turning over in his grave watching this. The organizations you're talking about come pretty close to being transgender groomers. They're not fighting for human rights or civil rights. I have great respect for the Pride movement, but don't mistake it with these transgender groomers who are trying to recruit people as transgender for money. These operations cost a fortune. It's not terribly different than the corruption we saw during the pandemic. There's a lot of money involved here, and there's a whole also communist Marxist aspect to it. And for Fox to be participating in this is probably indecent and disgraceful.
Mayor, we don't care if what you do as an adult. I don't. Do whatever you want. But when it's the kids, and we did the little research, and some of the places that they're appointing their employees to support and really talk about and push the agenda, those groups push an agenda of transitioning young children, some children's books talking about transitioning as young. I honestly, it's not the Fox of a long time ago. Here's my problem, though. The hypocrisy of coming on TV and having host after host hit Anheuser-Busch for their Bud Light situation and hit the nuns over in Los Angeles, the perpetual, whatever they are, indulgence nuns.
This is beyond the pale. It really is. Those nuns do recreations of the crucifixion of Jesus Christ with males with no clothes on and their genitals out, playing with their genitals. This is beyond comparison to anything you've seen before. I dealt with this with the Brooklyn Museum when they did this to the Blessed Mother and put cow dung on her. Do you know that Soros's wife was on the board of the Brooklyn Museum back then? So we got a Soros agenda here. We got a company that somehow has an unholy relationship with Soros. You saw that a few years ago when they cut off Newt Gingrich when he was merely trying to say that Soros was putting these DAs
we have that
were creating crime.
We happen to have that soundbite. Let's play that, control room.
Pro-criminal and overwhelmingly elected with George Soros' money, and they're a major cause of the violence we're seeing because they keep putting the violent criminals back on the street.
I'm not sure we need to bring George Soros into this.
I was going to say you get the last word.
Well, what they did there is they cut off Newt Gingrich, who's commenting on the Soros funding of liberal DAs, Alvin Bragg and others around the country, and they cut him off. Why?
Why? As obviously somebody is protecting George Soros. There's a thing that if you criticize George Soros, you're accused of being anti-Semitic. Now, that's really weird because he hates Jews. He may be Jewish, but he hates the state of Israel. As a young man, he turned in his Jewish youngsters to keep himself alive. And he hates the state of Israel. He also hates America. He thinks American nationalism is evil. So,
so allow me, Mr. Mayor, just allow me, because I'm married to a Jew. My wife is Jewish. I don't hate Jews. I just hate what George Soros has done, not with Judaism or anti-Semitism. I don't like what he's doing, making our DAs, district attorneys around the country, more liberal and more, I guess, answering more to criminals on the street than victims. And I really care, and I don't want to get into the anti-Semitic stuff because I'm not sure about any of that. But I do know the money he spends is putting more criminals back on the street, something that you know something about, that you work so hard to get those people off the street. Final thought.
Yeah, he's probably one of the biggest reasons for the crime wave we're having. And all of the dead black children in Chicago, Philadelphia, that just didn't have to happen if those criminals weren't out on the street killing them. Maybe 2,000 to 3,000 more than we should have out on the street. They're all there because of Soros' money.
Mm-hmm. All right. Mr. Mayor, really good having you. Appreciate your time. Rudy Giuliani, everybody.
Thank you.